10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
I should have seen that one coming.
Dire team pick.
All right, folks, here we go. Game number 2, FDL versus Void Boys lower bracket finals. The second to last series of Canada Cup Season 7. It's been a long season, but I'll still be sad to see it go. Void Boys leading 1-0 in this elimination matchup. FDL, well, they're going to have to pull out something different because Game 1 definitely did not go their way. I'm Sayori, joined again by Purge. Purge, how you feeling coming into Game 2?
Pretty good. The first thing that sticks out to me is Void Boys has banned 2 of the heroes that FDL picked in the first round before. One of which was actually Oracle. And thinking about it a bit more, I think one of the reasons FDL does grab Oracle so early is that the opponents are dissuaded from picking Darkseer. And in this case, Void Boys gets to open with Darkseer. So good for them, but they've got to play against Ricky now.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to go for Ricky Lifestealer. I guess Void Boys have to be considering, do we pick it up ourselves? Do we block pick it? Do we leave it for them? This is kind of a tough decision maker. I mean, even just a Ricky alone in the position 4 can be pretty annoying, especially against those jungle strats. You know, if they were thinking about going for Beastmaster again for Snake King, obviously now they're going to go for the Darkseer, but any kind of a jungling hero will get picked on by this Ricky for sure.
Yep, and that's the strong thing about him. Will we see Lifestealer going to FDL, though? That's the question. Void Boys can combo with other good Darkseer combo heroes like, I don't know, Earth Spirit, stuff like that. Invis heroes, I guess Bounty's gone as well, but there's a lot of good combos that they can grab to make their draft really good.
Void Boys chewing through this reserve time here. Only 15 seconds left, and they do settle on the Lifestealer. Okay. Now, I will say Void Boys have an okay opener for a Lifestealer. I mean, Darkseer is in and of himself an Infest Bomb carrier. He'll often go for Blink Dagger. You know, you can put the Ion Shell on him. Kind of the lawnmower thing going on with the Lifestealer. I don't really think it's bad for Void Boys, and it does set up a nice block pick.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's all right. Ion Shell and any melee carry can be really useful if you can set up the right situations. Like, for example, if Darkseer rotates mid for a team fight, Lifestealer can TP in, you can Ion Shell Surge him and start the fight off in a really good way. But not every team finds those opportunities, but I think that's the best thing about Darkseer in terms of his laning, at least in his like early mid laning. It's just the combos that he can do with melee heroes that can be really strong.
Yeah, no doubt. What do FDL want for their second pick, though? First pick, Ricky, pretty open-ended, and they'll take the Beastmaster for themselves. So probably their off-laner, the position More Iron Talon, all that jazz that we've come to love and enjoy. Probably the roaming Ricky. Timbersaw right away from Void Boys, man. They do not delay whatsoever. I wonder what that means.
Well, I actually don't know. I mean, it's not. It's okay against Lifestealer, but Lifestealer's okay against it. They're kind of both good against each other. Maybe Lifestealer is worse because Timber should never die to Lifestealer, whereas the opposite can happen. But I mean, just generally, Timber is really good right now. Maybe not amazingly good, but definitely very good. He can scout as well. He can be tanky, and Ricky can show up, and that's kind of scary too. I guess Smoke Cloud is already pretty dangerous against Lifestealer, so anything that has the damage or the ability to kill Lifestealer in a short period of time would be super dangerous. So could be another reason why they banned it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, still very open-ended here. They're going to move into their reserve time again and think about how they want to ban the rest of this. Both these drafts are super open-ended. I feel like they could pivot into like more of a pushing lineup, into a team fighting lineup, multi-core. Like they could really take this from any angle. I want to ask you a question though, Purge. What happened to Phoenix? That was a hero that before the TI6 hub, and even a little bit, I guess, before that, like Frankfurt, Phoenix seemed like the hero, and now I've lost track of how many games that I've cast where Phoenix has just been completely ignored. How did he go from first pick for ban to just almost irrelevant in these games so quickly? Was there a big change that I missed?
I mean, it's a mix of things. It's like things like the hero pools have adjusted. Like Lifestealer, for example, is not very vulnerable to Phoenix because he just casts Rage and then, or he infests something, or he rages and hits your carry. So if you're Sunraying a carry, but he's magic immune at all stages of the game, then all you're doing is weakly healing your guy. So it makes Sunray way worse. But at the time Phoenix was popular, all the carries were like Lone Druid and Death Prophet and like tanky heroes that didn't necessarily get BKB. So Sunray was just really strong. I mean, it's still useful sometimes in the right lineups, but it's definitely not first pick material anymore. I mean, it might be in some matchups and for some teams, but it's not always good like it was before. So it's mostly meta changes, not so much the hero or anything like that.
All right, fair enough. I could definitely see that side of it. Next round of bans, Night Stalker Lion. Interesting choices. Void Boys ban out their signature namesake, the Void. But Crystal Maiden. Pretty good to have against Beastmaster. Get rid of those pesky boars. That's pretty handy.
Yeah, I like it. More mana for them in lane as well, so Darkseer can cast more Iron Shells. Lifestealer can use his spells more liberally as well. And CM can get some roaming done. So I think part of the reason they grabbed CM, like you said, counters the boars. That's a great example. But I would agree with that more if Beastmasters didn't just AFK jungle every game. So I feel like the CM value is more in trying to limit what Ricky can do offensively. Because if she can go around and kind of counteract where Ricky shows up and kill Ricky, then it could be really useful for them as a team. So maybe she does TP reactions, maybe she sets up kills on the mid lane, maybe she does eventually zone Beastmaster, kill boars and hawks, stuff like that. But CM's a little underexplored right now, I think, because she does have pretty good damage, but she's always going to be a vulnerability as well, and against a Ricky, that's going to be an option too. So curious to see how they fit this into their draft, but I don't think it's quite revealed yet.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, CM has a pretty good early game presence. There are a couple of like heroes that just really benefit from the arcane aura. Like Bristleback comes to mind. Like a mid lane Bat Rider, for example, has a few more options when you have that extra mana regen. It helps the Darkseer. I don't know that it's too game changing with the Lifestealer, but we'll see another good team fight support for FDL Disruptor. Not a bad hero to have against CM, a way to interrupt her ultimate if she does manage to get in a good spot. A glimpse, a static storm as such. A lot of silence for FDL now.
Yeah, and that's great against Lifestealer, and I think that's why they picked Disruptor. Some teams were experimenting with that at the end of the regionals, just because if you have a stun into a Disrupt ulti, you do have a good solution against Lifestealer. He may have to buy BKB, or his team's got to back him up. So they can do Smoke Cloud into Disrupt ulti, they can do Roar into Disruptor ulti. I like the pick. I think it's useful. See if it works out.
Absolutely. Doom for the Void Boys. They are definitely switching this up. At the TI6 hub, I feel like China was the only region where I saw Doom picks at all. I don't think I saw him in any of the European games that I did. Didn't really see him in North America too much.
Yeah, he fell off a little bit. He got that big nerf to his ulti cooldown, so you have to play around that a little harder. It's less good, definitely. But he can still roam pretty well, and with Crystal Maiden Aura, even more mana, so he'll probably be very annoying against the Death Prophet. And more importantly, what he's going to probably do is follow the Beastmaster around and try to limit his experience gain.
Okay. Death Prophet, we talked about her last game. CCNC going to play it 2 games in a row. Last match, not best performance, though I don't know if that was entirely his fault. It seemed like there were a lot of things that went wrong for the team that made the Death Prophet's game more difficult. He did have a couple of small misplays,
5 seconds remaining.
but still a good hero pick. Synergizes well with the team fight they're going for, I think, with the Disruptor and whatnot.
Reserve time.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
5 seconds remaining.
Decent laning as well. More silence. I mean, why not get more silences, right, man?
Yeah, right.
Especially when none of them really have BKBs, with the exception of Lifestealer, obviously. CM will probably have to buy one for sure this game, but I think it's okay. They could get really strong early game team fights as well as another great reason to still pick Death Prophet. So, and it's still a decent solution against Lifestealer if your opponents don't have Elder Titan, which actually is still in the pool. So.
And all the way through, the Storm Spirit banned out again, Juggernaut as well, and the final pick,
Whoa.
Troll Warlord. I don't want to be that guy, Purge, but I'm really not high on the Troll Warlord right now.
Really, I think it's okay this game. It provides a damage solution against Lifestealer, so it's not all in on the Death Prophet. He doesn't really care if he gets doomed most of the time. Against CM, once he gets BKB, CM's not that big of a deal. He's pretty good laning against Iron Shell. I think it's an okay pick. The only downside is that his ulti doesn't really stack with anybody other than like Ricky, but it's a little bit overkill maybe with Beastmaster Aura, but maybe that's not true either.
Well, I was just thinking that
okay.
like it is sort of a cool synergy having the ult with the the aura, but it doesn't really matter that much. Like, do they actually synergize? There is a hard limit on how much attack speed you can get.
Yeah, they've been raising it though. I think it's like 500. He's not going to get to that. I think
so
his
you're not
third
gonna even
skill. I think his third skill gives you like 250, 260, something like that. So he's definitely not going to hit the. Well, I guess with Beastmaster Aura, his ulti on, and max stacks, and some attack speed items, he could definitely hit the cap. But
it's not a huge concern.
somewhere around there. It's not that big of a deal. No.
Yeah.
I'm more concerned about the fact that nobody else on his team is really going to be standing still right clicking, in which case his ult is a little wasted. But Troll Warlord, he's on the up and up a little bit. He could be very useful here. I think it was a great pick to pick Mirana against him because she's a magic burst hero, and that's going to kind of put Troll into the typical situation where he's maybe not good, which is where people just burst you down before you get BKB, and then you get behind, and then you don't farm as fast. So,
right, and that's what I could see happening with this Mirana. I mean, 747 mid, he's going to get a decent amount of farm. Like, Aghanim Scepter will come out at a reasonable 20 minutes, somewhere in that window, depending on if he stops off for a Midas, what other little early items he picks up, that kind of stuff. And there's definitely a window there where the Mirana can jump in with huge magic burst damage and just bring down this troll with the help of really anyone else. You know, if Doom's nearby, and Infernal Blade, of course, if he uses his ult, even just a freeze from Crystal Maiden to set that stuff up, he can get picked on. And I guess that's my issue with Troll, is he needs time to come online. He reminds me of Morphling a little bit. He certainly can be scary and hit that critical mass, but it's the time that it takes to get there and how easy he is to punish. I do think against Lifestealer, though, there is something to be said for just having that bash. It's a way of dealing with the natural kind of BKB carrier in that rage ability. Troll gets a little bit lucky, finds an early bash, and sometimes that can be the make or break it to just destroy the Lifestealer. So in that sense, I do think the pick has some merit here.
Yeah, and it's got blind, so Lifestealer is going to be missing once Rage is done, and Troll Warlord's armor count has really increased, and Void Boys is eventually all in on the physical damage once Troll gets BKB. So
it is interesting, though. They've got a lot of AoE silence, Disruptor, Death Prophet, and Ricky, and they've got 2 sources of AoE massive miss between Smokescreen and the Whirling Axes. That's a lot of... I don't know what the word for it is. It's not disable. It's not really control, but it's...
Let's call it stuns. It might as well be a stun, right?
Yeah, I guess
more like a disarm. It's really disarm, kind of.
Yeah, so they've got a lot of ways to really break up these team fights and stop Void Boys from doing big damage, but this is still going to be a little bit rocky, I think. We'll see what this Doom's able to get done. Omega Pawner, he's got the Stout Shield level 1 here. For now, it's just going to be the offlane Darkseer. It could be such that Void Boys just get more efficient lanes with this Doom moving around in the jungle. We'll see if Ricky can slow down his farm or how it ends up going.
Yeah, he's already done it. He blocks the camp. Doom's going to have to shift over. He didn't even have a sentry, so he gets pretty limited here. And in the meantime, Beastmaster's doing Beastmaster things.
Yep. All right, mid lane. in favor of the Death Prophet out of the gate. I think you'd pretty much expect that. Mirana forced to go for a little more of a defensive build. We'll probably see that second point and leap, honestly. Uh-oh, up top, Snake King. Do they have an attempted a kill? Nope. Only a level 1 Disruptor, no glimpse. They should be able to walk back, but he will have to eat his salve a little earlier than planned.
You eat those? I thought you were supposed to drink them. Have I been doing it wrong this whole time?
I think so, man. That's actually true. It really is just a bottle with a potion in it, right? Just like the Clarities. I always think of tangos like eating the trees, and that verbiage just slipped over to all the other consumables, I think. Eat a mango. It's getting confusing.
You're right. There's... oh, yeah, it's a little bit of both now, isn't it?
Hmm?
That's fair.
I don't know what you do with a fairy fire. Do you eat it? Do you just kind of... Does it just
rub
evaporate?
it on your body?
Yeah. I don't know what the fairy fire actually turns into.
That's a really good question, actually. Well, in terms of last hits, looks like it's going pretty even right now. Potom and Death Prophet a little bit lower in the mid lane, but that's what happens when you're denying and trading and stuff.
Should be a fairly even spread, all things considered. 747 falling behind in these opening rounds, but his life will get easier as he levels up a little bit. Up top.
Might be a kill top.
Yeah, more damage coming out. Omega Pawner's rotated into the lane, but so has the Ricky Maru. He's still only level 1, so just that point in Cloak and Dagger, but they're going to find the initiation. Whirling Axes come out of the ranged and melee variety. Fairy Fire, Speak of the Devil, buys Omega Pawner some time. Surge from the Snake King, though. He gets bashed up, and this is likely to be the first blood. It's Franz that gets credit for it on the Ricky. And it's kind of a backfire for the Void Boys. They were kind of the aggressors there, not quite anticipating that Ricky rotation.
Yeah, and I thought they weren't going to get a kill, but they did a nice job switching targets to the Darkseer as soon as the Doom got surged, because it would have been a hard kill when he's maximum movement speed. So they both stick around trying to save each other, and one of them eventually dies.
Snake King now working on, well, he's halfway through level 2. I was going to say he was having a pretty good start. I guess he's got 9 last hits. He has been very aggressive in the lane. At the very least, he's feeling confident here, for better or for worse.
You know who's having a tough time is actually Potom. He's only got 8 last hits versus CCNC's 16 and 7.
Wow. Yeah, it's always scary when one mid laner has as many denies as the other one does last hits. That's usually a sign that it's pretty lopsided. Omega Pawner is actually struggling quite a bit as well. It seems like Franz has been pretty effective in stopping his farm. Hasn't really found much farm himself, but Doom is still locked at this level 2, out of regen now, just sitting on a mango. He's struggling.
He's doing... Like, the gold gain of Ricky is fine, but his levels are really poor right now. But he can always catch those up. Whenever you get kills against people that are higher level than you, you will catch up.
Snake King gets pushed back, and I guess down bottom we should check in on Pat Soul, the Life Stealer, in free farm heaven. His plan has been completely sacked. Just jungling Beastmaster. Ricky gonna rotate down and leech a little bit of this XP now that they pushed into the tower, but definitely expect the Life Stealer to be pretty fat. 26 last hits, number 1.
And CCNC still doing well in the mid lane. 25 and 8. Potom's caught up a bit, 16 and 0. And she's been getting... Oh, possibly a kill on
Ricky steals the rune. Oh, Frostbite on the illusion as well. This is unfortunate. They're going to put down a Sentry Ward. Maybe they can turn here, but I think Clairvoyance is just going to die. Not much the Potom can do to stop Ricky from chasing him down. Almost a deny into the
is he going to get a double?
Oh, here's the smoke screen. 747 in big trouble. He pops a Fairy Fire. Now the kill comes out on Ricky. It's a level 3 Star Storm. Way too much damage. He'll go 1 for 1 and really ends pretty well for the Mirana. That solo kill helps her bottom line quite a bit.
It does, but I think Ricky's still happy with that.
Yeah.
He got level 3 out of that kill. He may have bought out before he died as well. He almost got the double. It was very close. Basically, very patient mana usage there from 747, or he wouldn't have had that. So nice kill for him, and he creates space. He's happy to trade 1 for 1 there.
Yeah, especially since this mid lane's been a little rocky. It feels like kind of a wash. Ricky benefits, but so does this struggling mid laner. Still going to be tough stuff for 747. He'll TP in, just launches an arrow for some extra farm. But Death Prophet now up to 33 last hits. I think we may see a slightly different Death Prophet from CCNC than we did in the last match, where he's going to be able to come online a little bit earlier and strike that much harder.
Yep, and he was getting last hits the whole time that Potom was down there messing around, so I'm pretty sure that they minimum offset on the mid lane, and Ricky got advantage, so definitely good for FDL.
Yeah. All right. Pretty quiet early game, though, aside from those sort of Ricky rotations. Dark Seer now level 4. Everyone seems pretty happy just sitting back and farming here. Purge, MJW, Iron Talon, almost level 6 on the Beastmaster. He's going to have a very well-timed Primal Roar, and this first rotation could be pretty telling. Mid lane, are we going to see something on the 747? It's Franz, who's made his way in, and that smoke screen completely shuts down the Mirana, trying to pounce away, but can't get out. The combination of the slow from the Spirit Siphon and the smoke screen is just too much. Now Snake King glimpses back to the low ground. He'll just TP home. Nice heads-up play. Barely lives. Crypt Swarm, not enough damage.
That was a great TP. Great gank setup as well, though. Rotating for runes, nothing too unusual about that. And Ricky's just getting a lot done. Looks like he's going to go for the phase boots build. I like this one a lot. Just makes you a little bit more fast. You can get out if you get dusted a little bit easier and escape off of Tricks of the Trade as well. A bit better.
Yeah, and it does give you a little bump early on. You get slightly more auto attack damage, but it doesn't scale quite as much compared to the agility. So a sign that he's going to want to stay aggressive and continue being a nuisance in the upcoming minutes. Is there any chance Pat Soul switches up the build a little bit? Do you think just Armlet, Echo Saber, Desolator, sort of the standard tried and true is where it's at? It looks like he's going to answer my question for me.
I think he has to get a miss solution. He needs either an MKB or a BKB in the mid game, because if it's not going to be Troll's Blind, it might also be Ricky Smoke. So he's going to have to get one of these in the second or third item possibly. I think he's definitely Armlet Echo Saber, but if he doesn't get an MKB or a BKB afterwards, I'm going to be slightly surprised, because it will affect his team fight. At least once Rage ends, that is. Yeah,
it's a really good point. It's easy to look at the Lifestealer and think, well, but he's got a tool already, but you can't use your Rage just to deal with blinds. That'll make you susceptible to all sorts of other stuff. And not to mention, there's a hell of a lot of silence, as we've talked about, so that Rage might not be as reliable as usual. Yeah, Fran's going to walk right into it up top, gets off the smoke screen, and he will just back out. That'll be the end of this little engagement. Snake King will be just fine. He's going to start moving into a mech of his own, at least the headdress portion. Slow going for the Dark Seer, but making some progress nonetheless.
So back on the mid lane, tons of wards from both sides actually, but there's been way more movement from FDL's heroes, so they're doing much better this game than they were in the previous. Void Boys definitely seems a bit on the back foot.
Yeah, no doubt about it. More rotations about. Ricky just poking into the Ancients. Now he gets a ward up on the plateau, so they'll get a little extra intel to see when this hard camp's being utilized right now. Just Clairvoyance. Farming up on the Crystal Maiden, using that Frostbite, taking out some big neutrals. This is definitely a much better start, though, for FDL than we saw in the last game.
Yeah, it's way better. But the fact that they stay CM jungling means that they know she's not going to gank or defend ganks very well. They're going to try to kill a Mega Opponent here.
Yeah, getting pretty low. Oh, God, he gets stunned up by the Centaur. That's a great setup for Franz. But 747's nearby. Starstorm almost gets that second star, but they turn it around completely. Doom just gives him the fiery sword. That's a misplay there from Franz.
Yeah, I don't know if he knew that the bottom was there. It was a cool play to move the illusions in because they're invis and they triggered the Centaur Stomp, but it just didn't do enough damage, and that's his skill build. He's got 2 points in Smokescreen, a third in his Cloak and Dagger. Might have made the difference there, but either way, he still doesn't have his Blade of Attack in his inventory. If he had a Phase Boots there, he would have killed Doom most likely, but he's just slightly behind now.
I am a little scared for Void Boys about the presence MJW is going to have in this game, though. He almost has the level 1 Necro Book, and he's been left completely unchecked. Hasn't set up any kills yet with the Primal Roar, but he has been completely focused on farming. You see him now just moving into Radiant neutrals here. Smoke broken immediately by Franz. Great rotation. He gets an Observer Ward down also. Points and Omega Pawner just immediately back out. That'll stop that gank dead in its tracks just as Doom hits level 6. Very nice.
Yeah, that was really nicely done. He was just looking at the board and knew Doom was close to 6. As soon as Doom hits 6, he's going to go for a smoke gank somewhere, and he breaks it. If he would have died for that, it would have been worth it.
Down bottom, Soul. Here we go. Set up with the Primal Roar. Backstabs coming out. Should be an easy kill. They even get the Battle Trance from the Troll Warlord, using some of that global presence there to make that kill possible.
That's really cool, and nicely done by them as well. They had so many slows, Orb of Venom and the Boars. That's a dead hero every time, so the game is going to be very tough for Lifestealer from here on out.
Yep, and just like last game, all 3 cores on one team floating towards the top. This go round, it's on the other side of the coin in favor of FDL. 747 now moving into the enemy jungle to get some neutral kills of his own. We haven't really checked on the Troll too much, but he's gone for a pretty standard kit also. Phase Boots, Helm of the Dominator. I think likely to start stacking up Ancients once he finds a creep to take over.
Oh, Beastmaster in trouble.
Frostbite might set up for 747. Did that
Ooh.
Starstorm fall short?
Yeah, he didn't have the mana for the leap there. I think he should have done the arrow. He definitely messed up. He should have done arrow from the Frostbite and then Starstorm while bottling, but he didn't quite have the full mana to do both, so he chose the Starstorm and wasn't in range.
Yeah, poor Snake King gonna go in too deep up top. He'll just get sandwiched, really nowhere for him to go. Once he's committed like that, as Lifestealer does get a deny on that bottom tier 1. Oof. Void Boy's getting picked off left and right here, Purge.
That is not good for them. Losing Doom on the mid lane. He didn't ult at least, but could be Mirana dying here.
Yep, 747 initiated on. We'll be able to pounce back. CNC still has plenty of duration left on the ult, though. We'll be able to get a little bit of extra damage onto this tower. Another TP on the way in. It's Snake King. No wall yet, though, or pointing back. So right now he's just a Surge Ion Shell kind of guy. He is holding on to his skill point.
I don't know if he's going to go Atos this game on Death Prophet or not, but it's okay this game. It's probably better for him to go Yules against things like Mirana, Crystal Maiden, Lifestealer, but at least with Atos, he can try to keep Doom away from him if he doesn't get doomed. Might be a good choice.
Actually a pretty good solution against the Mirana as well. She always has that leap to get away, but the Atos has a pretty long range, and sometimes you can still close the gap. For Death Prophet, all she has to do is close the gap again after that leap away to get another Soul Siphon. Mirana doesn't have leap, she's just dead every time, and it is an Atos. Good call there.
Yeah, she doesn't really have as bad of armor or survivability problems this game, because it's basically just Lifestealer's right click, so she doesn't feel the need to have to buy an armor item really. She's gonna go maximum efficiency, just one of the best value stat and mana, or basically stat, HP and tons of int. It's gonna give her a really good efficiency in the early game, and she's gonna put an infused raindrop on top of that. And by she I mean CCNC of course, but with the infused raindrop on top of that, he's gonna tank so much magic damage in the next fights.
Yeah, top tier 1 tower will be a freebie for the Void Boys as FDL just move right into the Roche pit. With the Inner Beast, the Necro units, the Boars, they've got a lot of damage here, and Roche falling pretty darn fast for 13 minutes in. Void Boys starting to move in that direction, but I think they're going to get here just a little bit too slow. Roche is going to fall to the Dire. It's the Troll that gets the Aegis. They are all Moonlight shadowed up. Oh, the Infest Bomb comes out. They lose the bottom straight away. Troll Warlord goes hard onto the Lifestealer. It's looking like a good fight for FDL. Doom onto MJW, not going to yield a kill. And immediately the Void Boys lose 3. Very ambitious fight to just charge into the pit, especially after knowing they've secured the Aegis like that. Oof, that's brutal.
Yeah, the only way that didn't work is if they didn't have sentries there. Like they strolled in like it wouldn't be a big deal, but they're against a bottom. Like they're gonna have a sentry down and they're probably gonna cast spells on you. It was made a little bit worse because great reactions from Disruptor there. He put his ulti down and he caught Lifestealer before Rage as well. There's nothing they could do in that fight as soon as that Static Storm and Roar happened.
Yeah, FDL gonna get a very easy objective after that also. Just gonna take out that tier 2 tower in the bottom lane. Still with the Aegis standing. It's just gonna be a Yule's Scepter next on the DP.
And they got tier 1 mid, so they got so much from that fight.
Yep. We're gonna hop into our Soylent instant replay here, relive some of the madness in the Roche pit. It was a nice, easy setup here from FDL. We talked about all that damage that they have. Dan King with a nice heads-up play to move out of the pit right away, sort of anticipating there could be a movement. 747 sets up a nice Infest Bomb, but it's right on top of the Static Storm. Ricky goes into Tricks of the Trade. I mean, the Mirana just, in the blink of an eye, disintegrated, and obviously the rest of the fight kind of backfires from there. Gonna go back into in-game. Looks like we could see a kill on the way. Speak of the devil, it's 747. Silence into Primal Roar. Nowhere for the Potom to go. And this could be a stomp the other way, looking at how quickly FDL are taking over this game. Like 7,500 net worth lead, 7,500 experience lead. We're only 15 minutes in.
Yeah, they're completely outplaying Void Boys at this point. There's no way that they're gonna... I just don't see them being able to stand up to this. I'm really liking Battle Trance with Ricky as well. It's giving Ricky some respectable damage despite only having levels and a phase boost.
Yeah, you know, I was a little harsh on the troll pick, but I'm really seeing some good synergy here with the Riki, and just the setup from Beastmaster. That global presence allows them to find kills that they ordinarily wouldn't have been able to at that stage of the game. I think to make the troll pick work, you have to play him around this kind of a style where you have heroes that can make space and benefit from that battle trance around the map, and they're definitely doing it. Stan King almost caught, but able to make it out with a pretty nice kinetic field. Riki, tricks of the trade, is he gonna be able to get out here? And wounds, and they will. Did they just smoke instead of dust?
Ooh, the double dust smoke to kill Riki. That is 190 gold that they lost, and a smoke, of course.
That is, wow.
That's a big mistake. Big mistake.
I feel like that speaks to the mental state of Void Boys right now. And tilting a little bit, making those kind of plays there. I mean, to their credit, they did kill the Riki, but more costly than they were hoping for. 2 minutes left on the Aegis still, mind you.
Yeah, he left the sentry vision range, and they weren't necessarily expecting that, so it happens.
Yeah,
they did see Potom. They see actually all the heroes moving in the jungle, so.
And I mean the smoke usage more than the double dust, by the way. Double dust will happen occasionally, you know, you're fast on the reactions. The smoke, that's just straight up,
Just a misclick, yeah.
Click the wrong consumable there. That really hurts. I mean, this Potom is actually really broke as well purged. 5k net worth. She is nowhere close to an Aghanim Scepter.
Yeah, and Franz is gonna find her in the jungle. Look at the map, dude. They're all coming.
Yeah. Oh, pounce to the high ground. Actually makes it to the other side. No TP out. That was a cute little play right there.
That was very close, though. I mean, if that smoke cloud was a fraction of a second earlier, she just dies.
Yeah.
Or at least gets low.
Been life on the edge. I guess this is the drawback to the Mirana pick. If you get shut down in a matchup against a hero like Death Prophet, you really need the Aghanim Scepter to come online. Like, sure, it allows you to do damage in teamfights, but it's really your farming tool on this hero. When the Ags upgrade first came into the game, we saw a lot of Miranas go Midas before the Ags to try to fill that gap. Now the trend is definitely just straight Aghanims because it gives you that farming tool, but when you end up in a situation like this, how does the Mirana play from behind? Like, there's not really much you can do besides go for YOLO arrows.
It's actually kind of more than just the farming tool. It's her be as relevant as other popular teamfight heroes. Like, if she lands a great 5-second arrow and does full damage and then lands a great double Starstorm, that's awesome, but those are kind of unreliable compared to just Death Prophet ultis with her ability to farm and just output damage. Like, it's just not the same for Mirana until she gets that Ags finished.
Yeah. 3-10 FDL with a sizable lead. Need to take some more map control here. Echo Saber on the Lifestealer, that'll be his second core item after the armlet, so he's feeling pretty good. You know, he's top of his team, kind of keeping pace. Everyone else is really feeling the hurt a bit more than he is. Glimpse back onto Clairvoyance. Not going to be enough for a kill, but Void Boys get repelled, and we'll just lose a tier 2 tower. Really no fight. Still about half duration left on the Exorcism. FDL just go right towards the top lane, creeps pretty close to the tower. 2 tier 2s with 1 Exorcism. FDL is feeling hot to trot right now.
Yeah, I don't think the Exorcism will do that much damage to the tower, but they can still pretty confidently do this unless there's a great Doom. And look at Ricky's positioning. He did it, broke it.
Oh my god, another smoke broken. They'll dust him, but look at his positioning in the tree line. They can't even find him. He goes straight into Tricks of the Trade. They know the Moonlight Shadow's been used. Omega Pawner comes in looking for that Doom, but he gets silenced. Can't get it off quite yet. They do get a kill on the Riki with the Infest Bomb, but 747 stunned inside of the Disruptor ult. Still not enough. FDL can't get their ducks in a row, and they're going to lose this team fight. Even with Riki breaking the smoke, it's a 3-0 the other way. A huge fight for the Void Boys, and absolutely a sign of life. Nearly a 3k net worth swing to that trio of kills.
And everything I said was basically wrong. They could still fight. They smoked into it, and that was the big thing. And they were all on the same page. FDL perhaps wasn't coordinated there. It definitely seemed like some said run. Most of them probably said run, but some did get caught on the retreat.
Yeah, it's still a big play from the Riki, though. He's done a really good job kind of reading the game, judging when they're going to smoke, and it did give FDL kind of a fighting chance in this fight, but they made the call to retreat, and the Void Boys just punished it really hard. I thought 747 was going to die there for sure, but they had a little heal at the end, and yeah, MJW's escape definitely did out in his favor.
That's because they weren't on the same page. You know, if that was like what Roar and Static Storm being used, but what if Death Prophet's there and is able to Spirit Siphon and use a nuke on him? That guy would have died, and then they maybe could have won the team fight. But it was pretty iffy. They shouldn't have been there in the first place just to be safe. It's either that or they have to take the 5-man. I think they still could have won it considering what happened in the circumstances with Riki breaking the smoke and them getting Static Storm on bottom. but they didn't commit, and that's why they lost so many heroes. So they get back into the game, and FDL is going to have a slightly harder uphill battle.
Yeah, still a pretty commanding lead for them though, around that 5k net worth mark. Does allow for some core items to come out for the Void Boys. Crimson Guard now on the Doom, and Mirana will indeed get her Aghanim Scepter. We see Snake King with his Blink mech. I think he had the mech at the beginning of that fight, but still, he is definitely coming into his own. I do like this item build that Bisa has gone for on the Troll Warlord. Just right into the S&Y. It's a very standard build, nothing crazy about it, but I feel like S&Y is really core on this year. I think I was talking to Merlini about it at the hub, and we saw a game with the Troll that didn't go S&Y, and he just feels so lackluster without that extra movement speed and extra bit of stats.
Yeah, I've tried the same thing. I really want like Echo Saber Troll to work, and it sounds kind of cool on paper, but S&Y just does all of those things plus the 16% movement speed. You just can't pass it up because your hero is weak disables. You need to be able to chase people down. You need to be able to do those maims on them to slow them down and give you that advantage, and you need the stats just because you need to be survivable. It solves so many of Troll's problems. This has to be the build in almost all cases.
Yeah. Absolutely agreed on that front, my friend. Tier 2 tower up top under some pressure. The Void Boys getting aggressive. FDL in enemy territory. Looks like they'll just rotate up themselves. They've got a gem on MJW as well as a couple of sentries on Stan King. They are ready to deal with this Moonlight Shadow if Void Boys do anything crafty. Also an ultimate orb now up on the Troll. Bisa feeling pretty brave. They sense a rotation coming, and Void Boys, they get the hell out. They mass TP back to their base. Old Warcraft 3 Archmage style. Yeah.
They're looking pretty good now. Controlling the map decently. They've got good wards on their opponent's side of the map. They just need to put a little bit more pressure on. Maybe wait for Roche, take a fight. Maybe an occasional smoke gank, but I'm sure Ricky will continue moving around.
Yeah, 747 really accelerating his farm now. It's incredible like how much of a difference the Aghanims makes. We were talking about it, but now #1 on net worth for his team at 9k. He was at the bottom of the pack, 5k net worth, really not that long ago. And one team fight, one big item pickup, and now he's up to 1500 gold. He's feeling pretty good, and his team will rendezvous for a smoke into Moonlight Shadow. So in case Ricky's nearby, that's not going to interrupt it. The Hawk flying overhead. DL may be a little suspicious. There could be a rotation. Not quite going to scout it out. Ricky has to be nearby.
Oh, the vacuum
goes in. Huge back wall on 3. Infest Bomb drops 2 heroes straight away. Bisa trying to make it back. CC&C gets doomed and absolutely obliterated. Void Boys finally get the initiation they've been hoping for. That's how they've got to do it. A quick 3-0 and soon to be a tier 2 tower.
God, that was such a perfect vacuum. That grabbed all 3 of the heroes that they needed. They just killed them all.
That was super sick. That was huge play there from Snake King.
Yeah, I think it was just a good guess, honestly. Like, the Ricky broke here, and I assumed that they saw the smoke break, but they didn't want to go for killing the Ricky. That's the wrong choice. If you try to kill the Ricky, drop the dust, blow everything on him, then his team backs him up. What you do is you go for where you think the backline is, and that's what Snake King found. I don't know if there was a scan that I missed or what, but man, great choice to go for the tree clumps, because that's probably where they're hiding. It's either there or on the high ground towards the jungle, and he gets the right one, and they win a really big team fight because of it.
And that was without the scan. They used it about 10 seconds ago after that fight had already completed, so that was just really good game sense from Snake King. You know, maybe one of those scenarios where you've got to guess one way, and that time he guessed spot on. Now another interesting item pickup from the CC&C Death Prophet right into the Hooded Defiance. An item you don't see on DP too often, but certain games it makes a lot of sense. This one, I don't know that it's an obvious Hooded Defiance game. I'm honestly a little surprised that he picked it up over something like an Octarine or just getting a little more armor or something like a Shiva's Guard.
I mean, the problem is that the 2 items you compared it to cost like 2.5 times more, and it gives you arguably similar value. So. Yeah, almost for sure a pipe. I think it's a great pipe game. It basically counters the Mirana eggs. It really limits that damage. And the barrier as well is a significant amount of survivability. I mean, 30% spell resistance when you have this much HP, and you can lifesteal. Like every lifesteal that he does in the future, every HP regen he does in the future, it gives him even more value because of the hood. Plus he's got the barrier spell block. Like this is a very inexpensive way to increase his survivability, and once he makes pipe, then Mirana eggs is going to do less, as is all of CM spells.
Okay, I can see it on that front. Troll Warlord going to be able to finish off the Roshan, and he gets himself the Aegis. Ultimate Orb on the Troll. I wonder what this is going to be.
Scotty for sure.
Yeah.
Scotty's just the Troll build. It's kind of It's kind of the reason that Troll and Sniper got so popular, is just because it gives you a little bit of everything you need. It gives you movement speed with the S and Y, you get strength, you get agility, you get intelligence. So you've got mana pool, you've got damage, armor, survivability, everything blends, and with Scotty, you just get more of a good thing. Your damage isn't amazing, but your survivability is so good that you can forego buying something like BKB, and then you just get efficient farming no matter how the game goes.
Okay, I like that. Also, a really big item on the Riki. That's a Diffusal Blade, very early on as well. We've seen this kind of position for Riki that can start to transition a little bit in the mid game and especially the late game if he gets some kills, finds a little farm. And this is a earlier than usual Diffusal for a Riki in this position. And, you know, we've seen the damage he's been able to do with the Battle Trance, and he's ready to set it up on 747. This opens up a lot of solo kill potential, but oh wow. My god, the other way around. Double Starstorm with the follow-up from CM just completely destroys him. I think I might have spoke too soon about the Riki there.
I think he really didn't take into account the fact that his opponents have a gem now. He thought Mirana would be solo again. She was not, and as soon as the gem got in range, she just double Starstorms and Riki dies. Doesn't have enough HP at that point. It's a great offensive build, though. I mean, if he can avoid the double Starstorm, that's probably going to hit him during the fights, and then Smoke Cloud and ulti on 2 or 3 heroes, it's going to be really useful. But he can't take that burst anymore. He's got to play real careful against Mirana.
Yeah, absolutely. They'll trade some towers here. Tier 2 in the top lane will fall, and we're getting pretty low on outer towers. Just one humble Tier 2 in the bottom lane for FDL. And that'll be it. Moonlight Shadows deployed. Snake King looking for an opening. They'll find it on the Stand King. They also get the Dyer's Courier. They have a bit of cargo. Let's take a look. What was
Scotty
he carrying?
Pieces. That would have been his Scotty finish.
Or
like,
oh boy.
The Mirana is completely paying off now. I think they picked it as a Riki counter for some of the reasons we've talked about. Once he gets Ags, if Riki's in the fight, he's going to take 600 magic damage and then possibly double hits, and then he'll just die, kind of stuff. Like, she can even be silenced and the Ags is still going to go off. And this just counters him. It kind of gives you what Riki does to you, and allows you to do the smoke plus pot of ult, and sometimes catch your opponents where they would definitely catch you in an up position.
Oh, along that same vein, 747 now goes right into a BKB. So if they were having trouble dealing with the Potom before, now that silence not going to be working as well as it once was. Franz getting aggressive here, goes in onto Clairvoyance. Is it just bait? Be able to walk out of the tricks of the trade. 747 on the way over, but there's a fight breaking out on the other side. Omega Pawner getting low. CCNC's gotten off the exorcism. Snake King dropped the wall looking for another vacuum. They've lost their Doom first, but now Franz in too deep will concede his life as well. It's a 1 for 2. Lifestealer able to chase down the Death Prophet on the back line. MJW looking for a retreat, blink to the low ground, and he will live. A very spread out fight, starting with Riki off to the side and the rest of it breaking out in the mid lane. Void Boys managed to find an advantage, but I think that long spread out chaos will definitely start to favor them in these fights. For FDL, the more clumped up the better, so they can maximize on that DP ult.
Yeah, I really thought that they would at least get the Doom kill faster, but with the Crimson Guard, you're damage blocking a lot of damage. Every single time you can block from the Necro 3s, as well as the Death Prophet right clicks and the Beastmaster right clicks. So they needed somebody else there like Troll to guarantee the kill, just tons of physical damage, but they didn't have that. So he kept him alive forever. Eventually, Guardian Greaves came through, and they finally get back up and they win the fight.
Yeah, and we were talking about Lifestealer. Does he need to get something like an MKB, something to deal with some of the miss? And he's going to go BKB. So almost a recipe away. Not an item you see on the Lifestealer that often, but definitely makes sense in the context of this game.
Yep, it's the safer solution. If you buy MKB, it's kind of counterintuitive to what Deso does. So this one's just a little bit more straightforward and a lot safer. Although MKB would be a lot more damage.
Still, they've got pretty good damage themselves, I guess, is sort of the thought process. And BKB isn't bad for Lifestealer. 24 damage, 10 strength. He's okay with those stats.
It's better than, an agility or a strength or an int hero having to buy that. But the downside to BKB in this game doesn't stop Troll Warlord at all, except for his blind. But the bright side is that he's not going to take Magic Nuke from Death Prophet or Disruptor or even Mana Drain from Beastmaster. There's a lot of good things about the BKB this game, so he's probably okay with this considering their position right now.
Yeah, still susceptible to those 10% bashes though. That is the one thing that the Troll has always just a leg up on over the Lifestealer. Those bashes really hurt. Is Courier going to be coming back up here? He's now picked up a Crystallis to go with his Scotty, so now Bisa just starting to transition into damage. Right clicks on the Troll. Really starting to become a scary force.
Yeah, they're gonna be way better right now than they were in the last fight. Unless CTNT.
Uh-oh, doomed up, slowed by the freeze, follow-up arrow, and that is a dead Death Prophet. Now Pat Soul goes in deep, brings down the Disruptor with a quick rage. 2 back-to-back kills. DP does have a buyback and an ult, so FDL could still maybe make a hold here, but Disruptor down for 30 with no buyback in tow.
A huge mistake there by CCNC, trying to push out the wave, but gets caught instead. And there wasn't yet a force staff on Disruptor because they've been losing some fights, so no way to save him there once he gets doomed and his team's that far.
Yeah, no glyph for the Dire side either. It's down for 3 minutes. Oh my gosh, this is a huge window for Void Boys. Clairvoyance goes in, senses on NJW. Beautiful back. It's a dead Beastmaster. He's dead now without buyback. CCNC buys back. TP's into the dead tier 3 tower, holding the Exorcism for now. Void Boys might just back out, happy to get that kill and force out a buyback. If they can stop CCNC from getting any kind of recovery here, it is so costly to burn a buyback like that. They could also fake back, use the Moonlight Shadow. They're going to go in onto Pisa. BKB pop by 747. Troll Warlord dropped immediately. They'll get a follow-up kill on the Disruptor, and this is looking disastrous for FDL. They're just getting picked apart, and before the fight's even over, GG is called. And just like that, Void Boys take game number 2, 20-11, and eliminate Friendship, Dedication, Love from Canada Cup Season 7.
Damn, the game just changed so much. I thought FDL for sure was going to be able to pull this one out.
Look at the graph.
The small mistake on the top lane just transitioned into getting pickoffs here and there, and then the huge mistake by CCNC to get caught off mid just kind of ended the game. And really what Troll kind of needed there was a BKB. He was useless, actually. He got frostbit by Crystal Maiden, and he was just done. He could